The amount of content per minute you're about to get is
Oh, snap.
high.
Prepare to be
High quality.
amazed.
High quality.
Go.
All right. People talk about words per minute. Let's go with ideas per minute.
Brew Happy!
We're the longest running beer podcast in the Pacific Northwest. Why wouldn't they be listening to us?
So many different beers! I got you something really good and really delicious.
Oh my god.
You listen to the Brew Happy show, so do I. Do it.
It's not about the beer. It's about the beer.
Oh yeah, that's Brew Happy.
That's right. You are listening to the Brew Happy Show weekly podcast. Thank you so much, beer fans, for tuning in each week. Wherever podcasts are found, that's where we are available. And you are listening to us right here at Breakside Brewery in Milwaukie. I am with Fat Josh.
Yeah, buddy.
And the Green Goddess Botanic.
Hello, everybody.
And, of course, we have the man himself, Head Brewer Ben Edmunds. How you doing, buddy?
It's good to see you guys. This
Yeah.
is this is a new crew. This is a different
It
crew
is.
for the
Little bit.
Brew Happy show.
A little bit, yeah. You are a returning guest many times over, and you definitely have seen a few incarnations of the Brew Happy show.
Yes.
So yeah, and this and it just keeps getting better every single time.
I mean, only moving forward. Anyone who left, fuck off. Right? So, like,
I'll let him know.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll tell them later.
oh, we're not allowed to
I'm
swear
here
on this
now.
podcast.
Oh, yeah, you can swear. We're not FCC regulated, so
Fantastic.
I guess we'll see if they
I
still
don't think
listen
the
to the
FCC
show.
is regulating anything other than
I don't think they do anything really. What is their job?
they threaten Jimmy Kimmel. That's about
Yeah,
it.
they're mad at
For a
Jimmy
minute, they
Kimmel
did.
for doing whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess this is the test to see if JP and Ryan still listen to the show.
Oh,
Message
yeah,
us
yeah.
if you found out.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, guys. I'm taking over. I'm taking two spots. I am as big as two people, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Ryan was kind of slim. That's true.
Yeah, he was a slimmer guy, and he was usually the one behind the board. But that's now I'm doing that thing. Yeah, this is a great show. We also do have a spectator, Mr. Carl over here. What's your name, Carl?
Carl Lindbergh.
Carl Lindbergh. All right, and he might be joining us on the show a little bit later to talk
think he
about some
is.
beer stuff.
After
Yeah.
I say why, I have to say. I
Is
think
he going to be in the wild?
No.
Oh, okay.
You don't even know where he worked before. Okay, we'll leave that for later.
I think it was Point Blank is what he told me the
yeah,
other
there you
day. Yeah. So yeah, we got a little delivery connection going on there, and we do have some beers on the table. But just before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about Breakside Brewery, one of the first breweries that we ever had on the Brew Happy show back when we first started, that was back when you guys were just had the little tiny brewery, which is now your pilot brewery, in the Deacom neighborhood. And now you guys also have locations in Slabtown, Milwaukie, Beaverton, Vancouver, Astoria, and Lake Oswego. So that is some phenomenal growth in a little over 10 years, I think, is where we're at with all of that.
Is this the second location?
Yeah, this is number 2. This
what I
one
thought.
opened basically January 1, 2013.
Yeah.
13.
And this is where the bulk of your production happens. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Everything that's going to package, draft in the marketplace, going through wholesale, that's going to our other pubs, Breakside IPA, Wanderlust, Pilsner, Stay West, Rainbows, the core brands, that's all coming from here. So 98, 99% of the beer we make is produced on site right here.
Yeah, yeah. And that's one of the reasons we chose to come here today is because, sometimes you just got to go to the cow to get the milk.
Have we not done the pod here before?
Oh, we have.
It's been about like 8 or 9 years, I feel like. Because the last time,
Yeah, I think last time we did it at Slabtown.
I think we did Beaverton last.
Was it
and then
it was.
Slab before that.
Uh-huh. We usually do it at Slab.
I
Because we
think-
like that upstairs Sky Bar.
Yeah.
Sky Lounge.
Yeah, the VIP lounge.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think that we only did it there once, is my recollection. But yeah, I remember doing a pod here at some point.
Yeah.
But I think we did over in the events room. Did we do one at Deacom in the early days? I really have no recollection of that. I mean, that's you said 10 years. We're going to hit 16 years this May.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it would have. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because it would have had to have been around 2009, 2010 when I was still doing the pilot of the show, and that was with a fella. I think it was McKean.
Sorry, that's Migration.
Oh, Migration. No.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name? Was it Tony?
Oh, you did a pod with Tony.
Tony.
Whoa.
It was
Okay.
Tony.
The last chapter. I'm not allowed to talk about Tony.
Oh, okay.
The lost chapters of Breakside.
Yeah. Well, that
Sealed in the locked archive.
That also might be a lost episode.
This is the Apocrypha, right? This is like, is it the Bible? Does it not exist? Is it a story that was created after the fact?
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
You lost some episodes?
Well, when I did the pilot back in 2009, 2010, and 2011, I did a collection of about 55 episodes, and a handful of them, they got corrupted somewhere along the file got corrupted somewhere along the way, and I didn't have another good copy of them, and so some of the ones, like I had a really nice one with Fred Eckhart. And a couple of others.
So they were released. They're lost now.
They were released. So somebody might have them on an old phone somewhere, but
download or something.
Yeah. So from that experience, I learned to create an archive.
Back everything up.
You remember that name, Tony, huh? That was your employee?
Yeah.
No, not the employee. Tony was actually one of the co-founders.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why you can't talk about it. Okay.
Yeah. So I vaguely remember that.
We don't talk about Bruno, you know.
Yeah. So I was going back through the archive episodes, and I came across. Some really, really good oldies, like the very first Green Dragon episode with Brett Joyce from Rogue. And then the one I did with Don Younger over at Horse Brass, which is where I get that quote from the intro. It's not about the beer, it's about the beer. And that guy is just he was a classic. And then I have a really good one with Alex Ganem from Upright when he was first starting out. He was only 25 years old. And if memory serves, Ben, that's you worked it Upright for a minute there, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Back in the beginning?
I think Alex is a couple years older than me, but I'm just doing the mental math, and that seems
about right?
I would have guessed 27, 28 or so, maybe closer to 30 But I mean, he'd been brewing at Omegang and then BJ's before that for a number of years.
I didn't know that. He was brewing for Omegang. Wow.
Yeah, Alex was.
I forgot about that.
Gosh, I feel like he was he chose to do a culinary school internship. I may be slightly misremembering this, but he chose to do it at Omegang. And what's crazy about Omegang, this is one story I do know, is that when Alex interned there in Cooperstown in the early aughts, they had like one keg in the entire place.
What?
Just one
All
keg?
the beer was bottle conditioned. It was traditionally done Trappist beers, Trappist style beer, Abbey style beer, Hennepin. I forget a couple of the old names of some Rare Voss, some of those older beers, and yeah, there were no kegs in the entire place.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
There's also, it is, and I like this, we talk about breweries who have this kind of lore around certain breweries. How, at when Kevin Davey and Josh Freem were both brewing it at Chuckanut when they were there.
Oh, yeah.
That there were no carb stones in the place. So if you missed the Spunding, the beer was just undercarbed.
Oh, wow.
This is so random, too. I was just drinking beer with Alex last night. That was 2 nights ago.
Good. How's he doing? I haven't seen him since they closed.
So we were just exactly hanging out. He was in a group, and I was in another group right next to him. So we pretty much say hello, and we were drinking beer at the same time. But he seems to be doing pretty good. He seems happy. He's smiling, telling jokes and stuff. So
good. Yeah.
He seems he's in good spirits right now. So.
Well,
Love that guy.
I think we're gonna do a pro spell for Alex and Upright. One of the best little best kept secrets in all of Portland is what I used to call them when we did the tours, because they were in the bottom of the Left Bank building, and you couldn't find them. And then later on they took over the tap room, the Stingray Lounge upstairs, so they had a more visible presence.
That was the first place I ever went to a bottle share. Like the rare, cool stuff.
Where was this?
That totally tracks.
At Upright.
Oh, an upper. Okay.
Yeah. And speaking of which, Brent, who I saw bartending out front, he used to be he was the regular guy that I would see there.
Yeah.
Every single time I would go, any year, any month, any day
Upright?
of the week. Yeah, Upright.
Yeah,
That's
Brent,
Brent
one of
was,
our bartenders in Milwaukee now.
Oh.
He's an upright guy.
Brent was the guy.
Nice.
And he was also spinning the records. They always had a really great record collection there.
Upright. They did the red stapler, right? Upright did the red stapler, right?
I'm not
I don't remember.
sure.
The red stapler.
That from Office Space?
Oh, I think you're maybe thinking of Trinity Brewing
Oh.
out of Colorado Springs. Is that?
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Upright. We used to have it at our warehouse. You would see the red stapler, and it'd be the red stapler beer.
Huh.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
And I worked for Point Blank for so long.
So many beers. So many different beers.
Yeah.
Different beers.
So many.
Which brings us to the ones we have here
Oh.
on the table.
I just finished mine.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you
God.
Crushed that.
It
That
was
a
so
good-
good. I couldn't stop myself.
Well,
It
I
was good.
guess you're going to have to tell us what it was you were drinking there,
It was-
Bronwyn.
it
We're
was-
going to start with you.
It was the white tea lager. It was excellent.
Oh my God, really?
So good. I think I might just have to go have another one.
You've had that one before, though, haven't you?
No, it's the
Really?
the Laura Palmer tea beer.
I know you've had
black
that
tea.
one. I brought it home in cans at one
Oh,
point.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. You really liked that
Yeah,
one.
I'm a
think
huge
it.
fan.
Yeah, I think it lasted an equal amount of time in our fridge.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that totally tracks. So obviously you liked it.
Yeah, Ben, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah.
white tea
sure,
lager?
Yeah. What did you like about it? I'm interested in your
It
take.
was I felt like it was a little bit botanical
Mm-hmm.
and light. But I'm not a beer judge. Like Josh's vocabulary
Well, it's
is
all right.
so
No,
good.
no.
Just say what
you
you
like what
feel.
you like, you know. what do you-
But I found it really kind of uplifting and
Mhm.
botanical and kind of sparkling.
That makes sense because
Yeah.
you are yourself a botanical sparkling person. So
we use on the sell sheet for that. We call it soothing. I don't know if that's
Ooh.
I don't know if we're technically allowed to. You can't put that in the label. I think that's probably
Ah.
outside the bounds of the TTB. What you can the healthfulness claims you can make on a label, but
Ah.
for a sell sheet, we say it's a very soothing beer.
Yes, I could agree with that.
yeah, I think the Brew Happy subtitle is going to be Bronwyn beer now.
Yes, that's a beer we've made for probably like 7 years at this point.
Wow.
I must have had it
Since
before.
we first kind of developed the idea, and it was developed by a former brewer of ours, Trevor Foster, who now is in Minnesota, and he and Natalie Baldwin workshopped that over at the Deacon Pub for a year or so, and we pretty
Ooh.
quickly. It was a kind of a universal favorite, just kind of this rice lager, not like a rice lager in the kind of traditional adjunct lager sense, but a more characterful rice character, kind of adding some body, adding some texture to the beer with
Yeah.
some Smith Tea Maker white tea blend. And
Nice.
so that's been kind of the key piece of it all along. And over the years, the rice supply has changed, so we have to change kind of the mix of like adjuncts to the barley. So it's a little bit of wheat in there now, mostly some rice still. The beer is still quite pale, but I do think there's actually a very small amount of crystal malt in there, like a teeny amount. And then we've changed the tea blend over the years, and also how we've handled the tea, to try and get sort of more express sweet. For a while, we would give this beer to folks, and people, I think the way that white tea presents is so delicate on its own, it doesn't necessarily cue tea for a lot of people. So you have to do the signaling thing, right? You have to be tea-like enough to where people kind of understand it. Like it kind of fits in their normal understanding of tea. But if you start using, say, Earl Grey or Assam tea or green tea, then it can overpower this delicate white tea that you're trying to
Right.
put in front of people, because that's the ingredient we really wanted to feature.
That makes sense.
So we got some green tea in there to just make it more tea-like for a little while. Then we've kind of slowly ratcheted that back and then emphasized, it's actually a tea petal blend with some other herbs and like kind of botanicals in there, like you said. So we've kind of added in some of the individual components at higher levels to pop the white tea character a little bit. And I think this year I'm very, very happy with where we landed
It's
on that.
so good.
So thank you.
great.
Just
Yeah.
blowing my mind, this
Excellent.
guy
Truly.
right now. Just big time.
Yeah.
Just another
It's a
throw some down.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, if you hear
description
that bell, we're drinking.
Yeah.
That's,
I
that's
actually
what it
might
means.
just
Oh, yeah,
go
Ben knows
grab
the
another
rules.
one.
We also, if you'll indulge me on this, this is one of these interesting things. Like we mostly make traditional style beers, right? Like we're not making huge adjunct beers all the time. We don't have an adjuncting tank. So to do a tea beer, we're often just adding these types of ingredients into a bright tank or something like that and transferring beer onto it. And for many years, our approach had been kind of more quiescent contact times and conditioning periods where we just sort of let it sit. We think, this ingredient's going to take about 7 days. Hazelnuts, for example, white tea. And then we would recirculate the beer, kind of rouse it to finish it up. And all of a sudden it would be like too much, or like some element of the raw material, the adjunct would be over-extracted, some tannin, or husk in the case of a nut. And so we've taken a more invasive, that's a bad sounding word, but a more interventionist approach to making these beers now, with sort of more active recirculations and tasting day, having some flexibility in the packaging schedule to say like, okay, we're where we want to be on this. And so trying to build some intentionality in how we're handling it, but also some nimbleness in there.
I just love listening to beer nerds, man.
Always so
I love listening
articulate.
to these stuff.
It's
Just
truly a
blows my
word.
mind
It's a
big time.
wordsmith thing. Yeah. Is there a possibility that a tea could oversteep in a beer, like a tea leaf? Is that an odd question to ask?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think those tannins are very active. You're talking about some functional polyphenols that can make a beer seem tannic and astringent and overly dry. And we've I'd be lying if I said this beer has always been perfect. It's not. And it's improved in better batches, worse batches over the years. But I think this one is one where we've managed that quality very nicely. I mean, fresh hops, another example of an ingredient that does the exact same thing, right? Over extraction is a real problem in those beers at times if you're doing cold side fresh hopping.
All right.
Fascinating.
Awesome.
Josh, what are you drinking?
Before I mention that, I'm going to say what Carl is drinking over there, because he was talking about he's brewing traditional beers. This beer in the future, everybody's going to look back and think as a classic IPA.
Carl's beer there?
Big time, when people think about, like Terminal Gravity, one of the first IPAs, or when people think about Broken Halo, Whitmer, or one of the first IPAs, I think this one right here, it's going to be one of those when people look back and say, this is a really good.
Carl?
Wanderlust.
Wanderlust.
It's classic. I like Wanderlust because it has a little bit of residual sweetness to it. It's bitter, but there's some sweetness at the finish, and that's why I think it's a classic beer. It's also bright, crisp, all the things I like about an IPA.
Nice.
Thanks.
That's my beer for the thing.
Yeah, and that is one of your flagship beers. We've had the Wanderlust on this show so many times.
Wando's what keeps the lights on these days. Up until for many, many years, Breakside IPA and Wanderlust sold about the same. And what was nice was that Wanderlust always kind of led in package. Breakside IPA always led in draft. But in the last 7 years since the pandemic, obviously, I think a lot of people's kind of product mixes shifted, and we're much more package heavy than we were. So Wanderlust is by far our number one beer at this point.
Nice. Right on.
Absolutely. I love that beer. It's big time. I got this beer because it's a Belgian style, and as you guys know, just came back from Belgium not that long ago. Went on a really nice brewery tour down there. But this is a little different from the stuff I'm used to. It's called This Is Not a Taco, which I love the name.
It's not a taco.
This
it's
is not a taco.
It's a beer. It's true.
On tap has it as a pale ale Belgian. Come at 6.1 alcohol percent. And Ben was just telling me about the spices before the show. And I want to let you explain this to me because I'm catching all kinds of stuff that I usually don't get in a regular beer.
Sure.
So why don't you tell us what's in here?
Yeah. So the TLDR version is that it is basically a Belgian pale ale, kind of in the Deconic style, like a Belgian amber ale almost, with black lime and coriander. And you might think of that as kind of like a slightly amberish interpretation of a wit beer. But the backstory of this beer is that it was originally a beer that we developed with a chef who owned a restaurant in Northeast Portland, a woman named Johanna Ware. I don't know if you guys remember the restaurant Small Wares. And great restaurant from the mid-2010s. And we developed it. She had worked for David Chang at Momofuku in the early days.
Rings a bell. Rings a bell.
And so she definitely very like kind of ingredient-focused, kind of small plates, Asian-inflected, and mishmashing stuff from across the globe. And she had wanted to do a beer with us for a beer dinner that had black lime in it. So we made originally what was basically a beer to guard with black lime and coriander, again, riffing off of kind of the wit beer, citrus and coriander idea. but in this case using
I'm
black
sorry
lime.
to interrupt. Can I ask what black lime is? I've never heard of
Great question. Yeah, black lime is actually literally what it's lime that's been taken out in the sun and dehydrated. So it sits out. It's a relatively traditional spice in Middle Eastern cooking.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna
Persian
say
cooking.
this is not really used much in Mexican cooking. I never heard of
No,
that
so
before.
if you're thinking about kind of all the bright citric lime flavors, it's kind of the opposite. It has more floral, perfumey. I sort of, grandma's house, mothball, closet, floral kind of notes are some of the things there. I love that, but some people find it
Yeah.
a little bit off-putting.
That's why
but-
he's not a taco.
Yeah.
Ah.
Is it black?
Yeah, so there's two types. There's dried lime and there's black lime.
Mm-hmm.
Dried lime is just simply dehydrated, and it looks like a little shriveled up lime.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's black lime, which then is further roasted, usually torched somehow. So it's actually got a really dark exterior.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes
You
sense.
can find them if you go to like Barber World Foods. World Foods on
course.
Barber up in the one in the Pearl. Like I don't know if that place is still open.
It's still.
Yeah.
it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
I drive by it
They
every day.
have them, and you can you can get them on Amazon pretty easily. They're not expensive. They're a relatively cheap ingredient,
Oh.
Cool.
but
Nice.
very distinctive.
All right.
Very drinkable, super tastes like a pale ale Belgian, like exactly how we describe it. It's super refreshing, perfect for a nice sunny day too. It's not
Yeah.
typical Belgian is usually a little too strong for kind of the heat. Not this one. It's super drinkable. I like it.
We
Nice.
brought that we rebrewed that beer specifically because we wanted to bring in a Belgian yeast and do for some of our competition beers for World Beer Cup and the Oregon Beer Awards.
Right.
But we didn't want to just immediately bring the yeast in and then go straight into those batches. We wanted to do a propagation batch, kind of a Gen 1 batch. And this is a beer that we hadn't made in a long time. We've been talking about revisiting it. So this was actually the first time we'd used this yeast with this beer. It's the Unibrew yeast from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Or the Y yeast Belgo-Canadian yeast. I think it's 3864 is the number. One of my
Wow.
favorite yeasts to work with.
So why
And
you still exist, huh?
It does.
Homebrew people just like
If you
was
thought
hard
they
to
were going to be a
get.
sponsor anytime soon, that comment's going to just
Oh,
you lost that.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, if they do want to be a sponsor, just give me
We
a
will
call.
remind people that you exist.
We'll be happy to
Can I have one of those pilsners?
let all the
Absolutely.
people know. So we do have some cans here on the table, and one of them is the Breakside Pilsner.
Did you talk about what's in your glass?
We haven't even gotten to Ben yet. Ben, what are you drinking there?
I'm drinking our West Coast Pils, which is a beer called Summer Classic.
Okay.
It's the beer we're brewing this year for the Hillsborough Hops. We're a sponsor of the hops.
Oh, nice. That
Nice.
sounds so fun.
So this is we're calling it Summer IPA because that sells better. But for the listeners of this show, the sophisticated bunch of beer drinkers, you should know that this is a West Coast Pils. It's really it's brewed with Ondex yeast, which is our preferred hoppy or our preferred lager yeast for hoppy beers.
Okay.
You say Ondex? Like the
Ondex.
brewery in Germany?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so in this case, we're using it. It's a BSI strain, but Imperial has a similar version, and so a number of kind of if you see something often called like Pilgrimage or something that's kind of like a maltier, like a Bach-oriented strain that's kind of a Munich type strain that's usually be kind of inspired by the Ondex strain.
Is this the same as this one on the can?
No,
or
on
okay.
Pilsner we still roll with Augustiner. So
Okay.
again, Munich inspired there as well, but a different strain.
Oh, okay.
We
okay.
prefer the sulfur profile in traditional lager with Augustiner, but for American hopped lagers, we find that the Augustiner can be a little bit interferent. So
So
we
that's
go with
called West Coast IPA. That's
we
what it's
go
called.
with it's sold as summer IPA.
Oh, the summer
but
IPA,
it's
okay.
West Coast Pils, really. Got distracted. They're talking about yeast.
I
This
love
is
talking about
brewed
yeast
with
at the
3
moment.
hops. We use Crush, Thora, which is a relatively new hop that is
I never heard of it.
publicly developed by the Hop Quality Group. It was bred at Prosser up in Washington State and down in
Wow.
Corvallis as well. And then Superdelic, which is New Zealand hops. So 3 kind of like nouveau hops, some fancy stuff. And
Yeah,
it's-
I never heard of that. The previous one. you
Very
mentioned.
cool.
Thora's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a
Thora.
Thora. Yeah.
Thora. Okay. And that's a New Zealand.
No, Superdelic's in New Zealand. Thora is the one that was developed by the Hop Quality Group and kind of through their public support of the public breeding program.
It's hard to absorb so much information at one point.
I know. I
sometimes.
told you I was going to talk fast.
It's
It was like
incredible that you
three
have all this
podcasts in one.
knowledge.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't have to go back at least to this episode like 4 times in like one day, so I can get like, okay. I
Well,
got it
there's
now, I
already
got it.
been quite a few knowledge bombs already. The lime thing was just like, what?
So I have an interesting Breakside is distributed through Merletus.
Yep.
So I bought a hop hat when they first started, and I would wear it on the job. And I got written up because I was wearing something that's sponsored by Breakside. I'm like, it just says hops. It doesn't say Breakside. I'm just supporting a Portland team. But they thought I was supporting,
Our competition.
our
That's
competition.
weird.
And I was like, I couldn't wear the hat anymore.
Oh, well, I guess it's a personal time hat.
Well, yeah.
That sounds like Point Blank.
Carl, I think that's a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
Like, you should have, I would have torn that up and thrown it back in their face. I mean, not everyone has it, but like,
What
yeah.
am I going to say? I mean, the boss says what he says, and then I got to do what the boss says.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the hat off, sir.
He's also
Yeah.
military, so he's yes sir, no
Yeah,
sir.
That's the name of the game.
That's fair. I mean, it's an interesting thing, right? I mean, that kind of way in which corporate culture and kind of the more collegial beer culture occasionally brush up against each other, and it doesn't surprise me when you hear about that at the wholesale level. There is a lot more kind of cutthroat competition there. I think you guys know that, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
Brewers that get to be, and maybe this is a function of the 3-tier system, right? Is that like we get to be like, hey, we don't have to even sell the beer against each other. It's our wholesalers who do that for us, right? That becomes this way that enables us as producers to be less competitive because I don't compete directly. It's not like my sales guys go in and have to sell against Josh Freem's sales guys. It's Point Blank Miletus, it's Columbia, whomever else, right? So you get a little bit of a pass there. But there are some breweries who try and enforce that type of, let's say, dress code or kind of, corporate loyalty. And I think it always, at least in the craft space, it always backfires. It's never a good look.
And that reminded me that was the main reason I was no longer a part of Pono Brewing, because my boss, Aaron Gardner, rest in peace, he brought me in when he heard that I was with Pono. He's like, so this is conflict of interest. You cannot work for both companies at the same time. And that's why I had to tell Larry, sorry, buddy, I can't do Pono no more. Yeah. I can't do Pono no more because Pono was new and wasn't paying the bills yet.
Sure.
And Point Blank, I was there for a few years already, and Point Blank was bringing the food to the table, So I had to leave Pono to continue with Point Blank. They enforce those conflict of interest or laws, whatever you call them, big time at Point Blank. They did.
Yeah, I mean, it's their prerogative to do so. I mean,
Story about that. I'm not going to say it now, but I just heard a different story about that.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, circling back to the last beer on the table, that's mine. It's half gone, but it is a rare beer, and it is a beer that you guys have heard about on this show before. And it may be the last of this beer for quite some time. This is the third incarnation of the Nutella Porter
yes.
that you made with the McPollanders.
We love this beer.
Yeah, this is a great beer.
Yeah. The Jen and Jeremy, the McPollanders, my good friends, the amazing stewards, the OBAs, and just like truly wonderful people. And yeah, we have decided to kind of brew this beer every once in a while. It sells well at the pubs. It's all 100% real ingredients. I think that in this kind of space where pastry beers or kind of sweet-seeming beers can get kind of gimmicky, and people using a lot of top note, we use Oregon-grown hazelnuts. We use Ecuadorian cacao nibs. It's a pretty traditional porter, right? It's fairly dry, but I do think you get that big, really authentic Filbert hazelnut character, and then the chocolate is really supportive. But if you're looking for a pastry bomb, it's not that beer. This really is a more it's this is an adult beverage.
Right.
Is that the same one we had at their place at the McPollanders a few weeks ago?
It sure is.
Dang, I remember now.
Yeah. So, and this is the third time that you guys have made it. I think the first time you did it was back in 2017.
Oh,
if memory serves.
That's a callback, but maybe.
Okay, and so this is it's definitely one of my favorite beers, by Breakside or the McPollanders.
I'm gonna guess 18 or 19 was number one.
Okay.
Not 17. 17 would have been early because we were just getting Slabtown going then.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say 18 or 19, and then I bet we did it again in like 22.
All right.
Or maybe 23.
Well, yeah, I do rough estimates when it comes to dates and stuff. I'm not a numbers guy. I have dyslexia, so things get flipped around in my head. But yeah.
Also,
2018.
I'm very proud of that beer. Because Jen and Jeremy and I, worked on it and refined it over the years. But also, just for anyone who doubts out there that the bona fides, I actually brewed that beer.
Yeah.
Right. It was not, it was not a hey, get a pub brewer to do it for you. Where's someone to take over the mash?
Yeah, you show up.
I showed up
In person.
Jen and Jeremy
Yep.
showed up.
Uh-huh.
The three of us brewed it. No one helped us that day.
Yeah.
Which, point is, still got it.
You
know?
still got it.
All
Yeah,
these
yeah.
years later.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you do that type of stuff, what size are you brewing?
We did this one in a 10-barrel batch over at the Slabtown pub. So,
Okay.
For us, that's relatively small. But
What's
All
the
right.
address on that location? I don't think I'm familiar with that location. Slabtown.
On Northwest 22nd,
Okay.
Northwest 22nd in Raleigh.
Okay. I know the neighborhood.
Yeah. So if you are, it's the Vaughn exit if you're taking I-5 to
Yeah.
over,
familiar.
the Fremont
I could-
Bridge.
Well, yeah, I never actually seen that location.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, I've been to Beaverton so many times.
Oh.
Deacon.
We live so
Oh.
close to the Deacon one, but we always go to the Slaptown
Yeah,
one.
Deacon. I go to Deacon like all the time. And
I think we're gonna have to do a John Lovegrove type tour of all the Breakside locations
All right,
with
I'm
Josh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Like 4 flat tires.
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
go grab our favorite Kiwi and do a Breakside tour.
Well, it doesn't have to be just one brewery. We're gonna do like several, right?
No, no,
If
well,
it's-
yeah.
if John the Kiwi's involved, we have to do several.
Oh,
We're
it's
also,
true.
only a few minutes there from Brewhouse, a few minutes from Great Notion.
Okay.
So, very close, kind
That's
of
where
little brewery neighborhood.
close to function, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Function.
yeah. Unfortunately,
They're close.
they are closing their original location, and they're
23rd.
just
Yeah.
going to be doing the Alberta Arts location. So we'll be downsizing our function PDX coverage to just 1 week of the month instead of 2. But that's all right. We're just going to have twice as much fun at that Alberta location.
I just came up with a question for Ben. Do you have different beers at the different locations of Breakside, or is it the same thing everywhere?
No, it's different. That's a great question. So Slabtown, Deacon, and Milwaukie have the 3 breweries, right? So we have the production brewery here, the original pub brewery at Deacon. Slabtown has a 10-barrel, what we call our kind of hop lab,
Hop lab,
All
nice.
the new West Coast stuff, all the kind of R&D we're doing on hops is going through that location.
Okay.
And if you Deacon and here, Milwaukie, where we are the 2 places where you'll find the Deacon brewed beers. Because the batches are so small that we don't really distribute them to all our other locations. The Slabtown beers make it to all the other spots, though in very small quantities.
Okay.
But if you want to go to Slabtown, what you're going to see, I think, is a curated experience that's really focused on, like, where are we with hops, with West Coast IPA, with new hop products, with a few other stuff, but mainly hop focused, right? You're going to walk in and be like, wow, there's 16 beers on tap, and 12 of them are hop forward, right? If you go to Deacon kind of captures the spirit of the original Breakside, like this kind of like a little bit more culinary, a little bit more experimental, some unusual and quirky styles that you're not finding too far else. You're going to find a Belgian amber ale with black lime and coriander. And you're also going to find Breakside IPA and Wanderlust and Pilsner. Those will all be there too.
Yeah.
But then these unusual ones. And then here you get the biggest range. And I try and allow the bar managers at each location enough bandwidth and kind of, runway to choose what beers they think are going to appeal most to their clientele, because Beaverton is not Astoria, is not Lake Oswego. So yeah, it is different. But if you were to do going back to our buddy John Lovegrove here, the John Lovegrove tour of Breakside in a single day, you might be able to taste across all of our locations 45 different beers on draft.
Wow.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And then if you start adding in the barrel aged stuff in bottles and whatnot, there's a lot to choose from, y'all.
Yeah.
So
I did forget to mention the Dundee Beer and Wine Bar.
I wasn't gonna call you on that, but that's thank you for catching yourself.
Yeah, I did. I'm good like that. So yeah, I did want to make sure that everybody knew that there is.
I need to know more about this.
There are so many locations, and there are dock sales specifically at Milwaukie, Lake Oswego, Beaverton, and Vancouver. And what that means, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, you can buy, if you have a kegerator, you can buy kegs right there at those 4 locations.
That is correct.
Right on. I do have 2 kegerators, and in the new house, I'm gonna have one in the podcast room, and I'm gonna have one in the back bar on the patio. So I want to have some Breakside beer.
I literally just brought my kegerator from outside inside after I had the barbecue party a few months ago.
Yeah.
And somebody disconnected it. It's molded.
Oh no!
I had a lot of cleaning to do.
No.
Yeah. Hose that out with some star sand.
Oh my! I was so pissed.
Yeah,
that was before I came here. Actually, when I noticed that. So
I let that happen. I let that happen to my outside kegerator, the one that I have in the garage, and oh man,
it was probably one of my kids to plug in one of the pools or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, star sand from F.H. Steinbart saved the day. But yeah, so tell me a little bit about the Dundee Beer and Wine Bar, because I know the least about that location.
It's so beautiful.
It is a cool space. We, about a year ago, bought the Alit wine brand, and that was their retail location. So it's right off of 99 as you're coming into Dundee.
Okay.
If you know where Red Hills Market is and Argyle are, we're kind of in that same zone, but you pass right by it.
Okay.
And yeah, come visit. If you want a beer at the end of the day, after being down in wine country, it's a great spot. If you want just a break, we also have wine. We have a huge patio. We're gonna have a food cart that we're kind of getting up and running right there too. So a lot of options that we're working on to just make that like kind of a a more kind of like Breakside-y end of day post, end of wine tour day stop for people in the Willamette Valley.
Yeah, that's great. And now I will say they are. I'll just let you guys know if you're traveling, and we do love to advise on cool beer spots to travel to. They are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's full game. And I think that's a really great idea. It's a really
it's like a palate cleanser.
It sounds like a really great spot to go for. Your couples or friend groups where you have kind of the mixed bag between some people that are really into beer, other people that are really more into wine. And of course, we have a veritable cornucopia of different, flavor palettes out here in the Pacific Northwest. So that's one of the cool things about living out here is it has so much to offer. And I'm really glad to see that you guys are able to tap into that with the Dundee Beer Barn.
Like I said, come support it. All these places, they need people to come visit them. So
yeah, right on. We're all about supporting local. So Josh, you had something to say?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that right there.
This beer or this beer?
That one right there.
The other can that we have on the table.
The purple with the green.
It says
Mark.
Smell-O-Vision, and then it says April Fools. What's going on? That's not a joke, is it?
It's not a joke. You can feel it's filled with beer.
It's actual real beer in it.
It's real. It's an empty can.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been fooled before. Last time I opened a can that had some questionable labels on it. A snake popped out and almost gave me a heart attack.
We'll do this, but you guys got to play the game.
Okay.
So I think you need to finish your Nutella porter.
All right.
And,
Before you finish that, can I sip?
You wanna sip?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Let me tell you about this beer.
Okay.
Unless you have something else you'd like to say.
No. I was just gonna. I was gonna figure out. Should we go to break and then do the game, or?
We usually do my segment after we come back from the break. So let's do this first.
Okay.
We'll talk about this beer, and you tell me when you want to go to break.
All right. Yeah.
Because
I mean, sometimes we don't even
so much
go
to
to break.
say, but
I know, right?
I also, because this beer is so. Let me take a second. This beer is a mystery, so I'm only going to say so much.
Oh. Okay.
So I should rinse my glass then.
So my caveat here is that I fully understand that April Fool's is not about riddles.
True.
Okay.
Nonetheless,
Typically.
we thought it would be fun to do a mystery beer for April Fool's.
Okay.
We can talk about why I think this is a fun idea, but the idea was, and literally, if you ask the staff, no one knows what this beer is. On the staff. They were only fed the parts of the recipe that pertain to their department.
Okay. Interesting way to do this.
All that we know is that it's called April Fool's Ale, and as the label tells you, it's a 7% West Coast IPA.
Right.
But for fun,
It could be a trick.
It could be a trick.
Okay.
That I don't know how the regulatory bodies would feel about it not being a West Coast IPA, but it is actually that. I will tell you that.
Okay.
But if you scan this little QR code here,
Uh-huh.
it takes you a survey, and you guess the ingredients in this
Fun.
beer,
Oh, cool.
and the person or people, the 3 people who get the closest, get a grand prize.
What?
Yeah, for serious.
Of?
Scan it and we'll see.
Okay.
A trip to the you get a choice. You get to be a VIP night at the Hops, or a night on the coast, or a night in wine country.
Oh.
A Breakside experience.
That's awesome. This is super fun
So
and
you gotta
interactive.
try the beer.
You're not winning anything. This is a trick.
Right, I have to keep being like, it's not a joke. I know it's April Fool's. It's just a fun little promo.
Can
Okay.
Do you have?
Here it is.
I wanted to rinse this, but nah, I can do it right here. That's fine.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
A style question.
Yeah.
Define West Coast IPA.
Oh, how long do we have here?
Just
Josh has a thing he wants to do after break. Yeah.
Super general.
I think that West Coast IPA, in my opinion, takes what modern West Coast IPA. Let's talk about that. When we call something West Coast IPA, I mean modern West Coast IPA. Takes the kind of signature elements of American IPA and West Coast IPA from the past decade and a half. But these beers are now drier, leaner, a little bit lower bitterness, and more aroma forward than they ever have been.
Can I offer something that I wish happened?
Sure.
So, as a home brewer and as a beer nerd, when I hear West Coast IPA, I want stuff that will rip the enamel off my teeth.
Wow.
When I think West Coast IPA, that's what I want. I want citrus. I want ripping the enamel off my teeth, and that's what I want. And then when I hear a professional's take on it, it's not what I expected.
Huh.
That's just my comment.
Yeah,
I don't know if that helps or anything, but it's just my comment.
I think it's an interesting point, Carl. And like, there's this. I've said this in some other settings where, in some ways, when we're talking about West Coast IPA today, and by that what I mean, what is the popular vein for competition in the marketplace, things that people are being hyped about, it's a little bit untethered from earlier definitions of IPA. Like, you have to kind of, if what your definition of West Coast IPA is, and it's totally fine, is something like Swami's or Green Flash West Coast IPA or Stone, those beers of the late aughts.
Yeah.
That's not really, when people are saying West Coast IPA today, I don't think they're talking about those beers.
No.
And I get there's a nostalgia for those types of beers where people, because, again, going back to the Upright thing, I remember when I was at Upright, Citro is a relatively new hop, and Alex started referring to the weird tropical flavors. He's like, these aren't hop flavors. Why are these in hops? I want citrus. I want pine. I want punch, right? And there's some nostalgia out there for it. I just think that's a minority of consumers, and I also think that's not, at least when I'm talking about it, and I think when most people are talking about it in the industry side of it now and on the professional and production level,
Yeah.
they're not referring. It's kind of completely separate from that tradition. It's adjacent to it, but not the same. All right, Josh, what you got? Have you figured out all the ingredients yet?
Yeah, you're the nose of the
He's
of the show.
truly the beer judge, and the notes are always pretty great.
I want to hear you talk through the whole survey. There's a whole. Come on,
I thought I was talking to the microphone. I was talking to the glass.
Wow.
Can you select as many as you want? Like, can you just go down and select like 10 out of 17, or like?
Yes.
Is there a maximum?
Yeah.
But if you're incorrect, you're incorrect.
It's a big list, so you have to not only guess the correct number of ingredients, but which ingredients.
There's one hop in here that I am familiar with, and I can't remember the name of it. And it's super resiny, super.
Saz?
No. Well, I mean, it might be sauce in there, but it will be covered by the other bitter hops. I don't know. It could be the Strata hops. I'm not sure. Okay. But there is one hop. I just can't remember. I don't see the name in here, so it might not be that one. But if I have to guess a hop that is in here, it will be the Strata hops in there. And I'm still absorbing this, so I'm not completely done with my.
No rush.
I would guess Raquel.
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 Yeah, interesting. Is that on the list?
Super.
It didn't work for me.
The code didn't work for you?
Yeah, I'm new with that stuff, so.
I don't think he's upgraded his phone since
Raquel is-
1997. That's why.
Raquel is not on the list,
I failed.
but that's okay. There's a lot of things to choose from, and you have to guess all the ingredients. So, like,
Is
you
it
know,
Nelson?
obviously there's water in there, but then you have the other three.
Did I put water on the list?
No,
Is that actually-
there's- no, water's not on there.
I
but-
should have. I
But,
mean,
but you always have the big four with beer. You got hops.
I like that
yeast.
Damien's really hedging his bets. He's like, well, there's definitely water in
There's
this.
definitely water in there, but I don't see it on the list. Come on, guys.
I think there's malt in here too.
Yeah, there's definitely malt. There's Pilsner. Is it Pilsner malt?
Yeast, I don't know.
I know that there's going to be two-row brewer's malt in there because two-row is in like almost every beer.
Yeah, but I mean,
Can we
you
talk
taste
about?
it?
Can we talk about what it smells like? Because I'm getting it's like so dank, and almost like, okay, you know.
It's very floral, yeah.
Well,
It's piney and resiny, which I'm familiar with those. It comes with this hop that I have in my mind. I just can't remember which one.
Nelson Sauvin?
That's the second pick I had after the Strata.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it could be that too. I don't know, but I mean, you have to pick. I think I get a little bit of the orange peel too, maybe, but I'm not so sure.
There's definitely not any Brettanomyces in here, so that's no check mark there.
I feel like I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it kind of I get like I'm the type of person that likes the smell of like gasoline.
Whoa!
Like when you're at the gas station to fill up. Is there like a
Are you suicidal?
no? I just feel like there's a little bit of that essence in the smell, but like in the best way, not in a bad way at all. Is that weird?
We just went over to the Arco and down the street. You know,
Come
like,
on, no,
and
but
just-
like
A little pet.
You know,
No,
it's
no,
like
you know,
it's like the phenolic
a lot of those
thing.
flavors are associated with like kind of the New Zealandy type hops, which I'm not going to say whether that's in here or not, but certainly like that kind of gasoline character. A lot of people think of as like a Nelson-derived attribute in hops.
I know there's no oats in there.
Oh no, Ben hates those.
Oh, you know, huh?
I am on the record. I am on the record saying how much I dislike using oats in beer. It's true.
I know that's not going to be on the list. So I just have to like go down the stuff that I know is not in there because I'm not sophisticated enough to be able to.
That's not a bad
nail all
strategy. Your
this.
game theory here is not terrible.
Yeah,
You
I
it's
know
like-
there's no turbinado sugar in here. I don't know why that's on the list either. I don't think there would be. No,
Really?
I don't know why you would add that to a hoppy beer, because you can just bring that out in the malt profile, in the grain build.
Well, I'm glad you guys like this. This is a fun little. It
Yeah.
seems like
This is fun.
I've
I
fully
love it.
derailed you from the podcasting, and you guys are fully into
I am
just
playing
now
the shit out of
playing
this
the
game
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
I'm not getting any orange peel.
See, Damien's like, no, I don't want to talk about the podcast. I want to go back to
Yeah,
playing the
yeah,
game.
yeah. What's going
I
on
want to
here?
win the contest.
Yes.
Maybe
100%.
white wheat. I don't know. I don't think there's any red wheat though. Definitely no red.
Yeah,
wheat.
that's a real. I'm throwing you a curveball there. Is it red wheat or white wheat or both?
I'm gonna go yes on the ale yeast. No on the lager yeast.
You'd be wrong.
No, really? You think so? You think they hybridized this? Maybe?
I wanna
Hey, I'm gonna
hear
play
more.
my own game, okay? You play yours.
Okay.
I want to hear more from Josh. I want to hear more from our beer judge.
Yeah.
I kind of think Cascade's in here.
Well,
cool.
Cascade.
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
The
okay.
old
That's
school
a good,
Cascade,
That's
yeah.
a good base.
As a devout, avowed Wanderlust fan, Cascade plays a big part in Wanderlust. Maybe it's in here.
Oh.
Maybe it's not.
I think that was a good hint.
Can I bring us back here and talk about something that I'm really fascinated with in the beer world right now? That's interesting and why I think this is actually an incredibly challenging thing to do.
Please.
Even amongst people who drink a lot of beer and enjoy beer a lot.
Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting things right now that's happening in IPA, West Coast IPA mainly, but also American IPA, West Coast Pilsner, especially as lager yeast is getting used more and more in these beers, and people are not necessarily calling them lagers, they're just calling them IPA, right? Is that the ways in which brewers manipulate sulfur.
Whoa.
Sulfur from yeast, but also sulfur from hops. I'm not talking about like undesirable sulfur. these sulfur compounds that are naturally occurring in hops.
Mm-hmm.
The ways in which you can affect or change them by changing temperature, pressure, contact time, rousing, things like that. We're in an era of kind of sulfur, like, how do I say this? We're in an era where hop compounds and flavors that are derived from sulfur are higher and more prevalent than ever.
Wow.
And sometimes I feel like brewers don't even know when they're activating them because people have backed into their cellar regimes for any number of different reasons.
Oh, interesting.
But I can guarantee you that I can make a beer with Citra and Mosaic and Simcoe, say those, the holy trinity right now of American hops. And depending on how I cellar it, the same lots, the same amounts, in the same base beer, we can create completely different expressions of those hops with just the cellaring techniques alone. Pressure, temperature, contact time.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'll drink to that.
And insofar as we're trying to learn about that ourselves, we might be trying to make this difficult for someone by amplifying some of those sulfur compounds here to hide some of the other attributes. So, we are using it to our advantage in this kind of, sleight of hand, leisure domain for us.
So there could be some orange in there, and you guys just did something sneaky to cover it up.
Citrus is also very high sulfur bearing as well.
Yeah,
but that's
There's
I wasn't really going down that road.
And there's there's a lot of hops that also have floral and citrus notes as well.
My only experience with sulfur is for barrel aging. We did a beer and we got a Buffalo Trace barrel. The first batch we did, we aged it in the barrel for 3 months. Turned out great. Waited a few months and then we had to sulfur it to sterilize it. We hung a suspended thing on there in the bung, and it was sulfur, and it cleaned it or sanitized it. That's my only experience with sulfur. So what you're saying is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, and so there's a totally different
clue what you're
direction
saying.
on it. But you're absolutely right. There is this kind of like sulfite zone that goes in where you're kind of using that to sterilize barrels or sanitize barrels. What I'm talking about are naturally occurring mercaptans, kind of these sulfur-bearing compounds, sulfides, mercaptans. Sometimes we call them thiols if we really like them. If we like them less, we call them mercaptans. But they're basically all the same type of compound that naturally occur in hops. And as people have used more and more and more hops in beer, especially American-grown hops, New Zealand-grown hops, those sulfur compounds are just being kind of used active, or they're present at higher and higher levels than they ever have been. I mean, generally speaking, it's not something you're seeing with European hops.
Wow.
But the American hops, Northwest-grown hops, and then New Zealand and Southern Hemisphere-grown hops have quite a bit of these compounds in them.
Okay.
Only 11 people has checked in this beer on Untappd.
Uh-oh.
We're not an untapped brewery. We I think we've got a solid 2.6 or something as our
On this
score.
beer?
No, in general.
Oh, well, there's also a lot of people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right?
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. We've never been a hypey Untapped brewery. I think we have 0 awards from Untapped over the years, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
a couple hours ago, Josh called me and said, "Hey, come join me." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll come join you." It sounded fun. On that note, this has been fantastic. I have learned more in our 30, 45-minute conversation and homebrewing than I have in 5 years of homebrewing on my own.
That's very sweet, man. Thank you.
He knows the stuff.
Because I didn't. Some of the stuff you're just saying goes way over my head, and some of the stuff I can kind of comprehend. It's really, really cool. I really appreciate this.
Appreciate you being here, dude. Thanks, Damien, for bringing us all together.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, well, a prost.
Prost.
A prost to everyone.
I love that spell.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I don't think we're going to do a commercial break. We are at the 54-minute mark so far. I think we'll just it might be time to see what is wild.
Oh shoot, I'm not even ready for it.
What they don't know what is what.
That's my song.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's time for Fat Josh in the Wild.
Thank you, Damien. Even though I wasn't even ready for this, let me pull out my notes. Thank you for joining Fat Josh in the Wild, where I usually go out and sacrifice my time and my liver.
Oh yeah.
So I can tell you what's what going on around town. Usually a beer fest, usually a beer event.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's nothing going on. That I just go to a random place.
Sometimes you just got to go to your local pub.
Like I did this time because I
Yeah.
couldn't find an actually event that I was attracted to go.
Sometimes you just make your own event.
And I actually went to this place that you interviewed when I was in Germany. I don't know if you remember who you went to see when I was in Germany. And I can tell you.
Was it, who was it we have in Germany when you were in Germany? Oh, man, we're talking a few months ago. My head is full of all sorts of other things now.
I
give up.
I took myself out to Grand Fir, my friend.
Oh, yeah. That's so crazy. I was also at Grand Fir this past weekend. I took my Uncle Tommy on Sunday.
Oh.
or maybe it was Thursday. It was Thursday.
Okay, I was there on Sunday, so I was like, get the hell out of here.
That would have been crazy because we have been bumping into each other at places all over the town. So
and,
that's funny.
Let me tell you something. This is my first time I ever went to this place, and it is fantastic. It's right in the heart of Southeast Portland.
Dude,
and,
what?
I know. Dude, I've been out of the industry for a while, and let me tell you, I just don't have the time sometimes, man. And I appreciate that Damien brought me into the podcast because if it wasn't for him, I would have been leaving little by little the beer industry, and I'm glad he brought me right back into it.
Welcome back.
Yeah, that would be a sad thing.
I'm glad you stopped there because
it's
holy
fantastic.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't know that Whitney's husband is the guy running the food. So that was also
Chef Doug.
he's good. Let me tell you this, he's
Chef
good.
Doug?
I got a big plate of nachos that he use a mic so he can. What's his name?
Chef Doug.
Oh, okay, I saw him from the distance. I never met him before. I met Whitney several times, and one thing I noticed on this place, they don't have flights. They don't have tasting trays or anything, but they do sell you a 5-ouncer taster for $4. And so I look at the bartenders in the eyes, and I'm like, so I can make my own flight? And he was like, yeah, okay.
Technically, yes,
Well, that's a
you
no-brainer.
could.
So
Yeah,
I
like
got
a
like
weekend
7
store.
beers, 7 5-ounces, and let me see, where did I start it? There you go. Have you ever? You probably have. They have this beer called Lichen.
Lychee.
Yeah.
Lichen.
Lichen.
Oh,
Lichen?
my God!
Okay.
One of the best IPAs I have all year so far.
Yeah.
So freaking good. I didn't give it that 5
The,
stars on
reigning,
that.
that's the reigning champion at the OBAs in the American IPA category is Lichen.
Oh, for real?
Oh,
I didn't even know that.
wow.
I didn't even know. I just ordered a random flight for the beers that I got. I thought they were. Oh, we're doing a bell.
Yeah.
I kind of heard the bell. Was that the bell?
That was the bell. Yeah.
Okay, well, there it is.
Yeah.
We have to take it.
Cheers.
Oh yeah.
And then when I see a beer that it's been chopped for the style as a BJCP, you sometimes go like, nah. But at the same time, I created a pineapple Kolsch, which you don't do in Germany, right? You
No.
don't add anything to
No.
your beers.
No, I think as soon as you add the pineapple, guess what?
You're
It's not a Kolsch.
Exactly.
Right?
You're wrong.
It might be delicious, but it's not. They would not call it Kolsch. there.
Exactly. So I saw a honey Helles,
Okay.
which I was a little kind of like I'm not so sure about
So
this.
That's what I drank when I
That's what
went
you
there
had?
with Uncle Tommy, and it was delicious. Yeah. I do those things. They went down real nice and easy.
So you know, secretly I was kind of judging inside of me, but at the same time I was like, why am I judging? If I have a pineapple Kolsch, this is not right. So I went for it, and they freaking killed it, dude.
Yeah,
they nailed
baby.
It was so good, and the red ale. You know, I'm a big fan of reds. This guy reminded me of the Ranger. Remember Laurelwood, the Ranger?
The Ranger
The
IPA.
double IPA, yeah.
Yeah.
That it was gave me the similar notes on it, and I was so surprised by it, and it was so freaking good. About 10 years ago, the Ranger was my favorite red beer of all time.
Okay.
And then that changed. I had a different, a couple of ones, but this one I think is taking the spot. It is really freaking good. You had something to say, Carl?
Yeah, Josh, who won the Boarfish Ale Red Ale contest?
Was that you?
It was me.
Oh, you're part of the Boarfish Beer Club?
We
Oh,
were
nice.
for that doesn't exist anymore, but we were for about 10
I
years.
remember interviewing them. I came across, I interviewed them at Green Dragon back in the day.
Were you part of that?
Was that the day the Unipiper showed up?
Yeah. I think
that
he was
was
also
me.
on the show.
Oh, was that you interviewed him before?
Yeah,
You've been on the show before, Carl.
We did, I remember talking to Unipiper about the pickle beer.
Yeah, that was the first time they did that. Wow, we're learning all kinds of stuff here today on the show.
All right, got a couple more. I think it was.
I think that beer is called Rolling Rust.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
just-
So fantastic. Really, really good. You had another one called the Ember Schwarzbier. Fantastic. Those guys are. Whitney knows her shit about lager beers, man. I'm telling you. The wheat beer is called the Summerfield. Was really good. I gave it 4 on Untapped. Super good. And I think that was my last beer. Everything these guys are making right now. Again, I was trying to go down the list as much as I could, but I mean, 5 ounces. Eventually, they build up.
Right.
At one point, I had to take the bus. But
You parked it outside?
was it?
You drove it home?
I turned down the GPS and I told TriMet, hey, you know what? I'm taking the bus for a ride. Just let me be.
Yeah.
And
Service.
they had a fantastic. I had the nachos, but I saw someone eating I think it was a shrimp sandwich.
Okay.
Ooh, baby, I gotta go back and have
Oh, the
that.
po' boy, yeah.
It was a
yeah.
po' boy,
I
yeah.
think it's a shrimp po' boy, yeah.
And what these guys are doing, and Brand again, this is on Belmont. Is it on Belmont?
Stark.
Stark.
Stark, yeah.
It's on Stark, right in the heart and southeast, and it's close to everything. If you can walk there, you can take a 10-minute ride in the bus there.
Yep.
I love this fucking place. I'm going back. Whitney, if you're listening to this, I love your place.
Yeah,
This is really cool.
It's a good little area to explore. Especially if you're on foot. They got Revolution Hall over there, which is
Right across the street. That's
yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
I've been to so many shows in there.
They have a little bar called Beer that has a really nice little selection of curated beers.
Been there too.
And some pinball machines. Meat Cheese Bread is right next door to that, and then right down the street is a couple of really great spots too. So
What was the name of Darren's old place that's right down the road?
that was
Fracture.
That was Fracture.
Is Fracture still a thing?
I think so. Yeah, they're being run by Chef's Table.
Oh,
but
okay.
there's
They're
not
just
really
different owners.
I don't
okay.
know. There's not they got and they do have a nice food cart pod there though.
They do, and honestly, the food at Grand Fir is
Yeah.
What's the
but-
guy's
but-
name
so
again? What's the
good.
chef's name again?
Chef Doug.
Chef's
Chef
Doug.
Doug,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Congratulations to that
He
guy.
does.
Fantastic
He
food.
does like more fine dining as well. I guess that he's got a background in fine dining, so they have pretty much they've allocated like more rooms in the back of the building.
Yeah.
So they have like the brewery space up front, and then they have a few of the private dining rooms
Yes, yeah.
behind.
I took a video. I'm gonna post it
Yeah.
on the Instagram
Yeah.
page. I took
He'll
a video of
do,
the
like-
place. It's
Yeah,
a
they-
very short video. It's really cool.
They have they have this really neat little private event space that you
Yeah,
can
it's
rent.
like
And it reminds me of like
curated.
an old lodge from like
Yeah.
a cabin in the woods.
I was about to close with this. The place looked like totally like an upscale place, but the
Oh.
prices are not. The prices, it's super affordable.
Yeah.
Nothing is like super like you like, oh no, I'm not paying for
All
this.
right.
Everything, it is just spot on for a world class winning beer. Like you said, they won the first place with their lichen. What is it called again?
Lichen.
Lichen.
Lichen, yeah.
I mean, if you want to go and have lichen pint in there, it's just affordable.
Do it.
I recommend you guys have to get yourself out there.
All right. Well, it sounds like Josh knows what's going on, and that's what happens.
Give me my song.
when
Give
he
me my
gets
song. fool.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate
Thank
the
you.
that you putting yourself out there like that and exploring
Sacrificing
new
my
things.
liver for everyone.
Well, it's important that we let the beer fans out there know of new places to check out. And I know Grand Fir has been covered on the show, before, but there's no reason not to cover them again and again because they keep doing awesome beer and awesome food again and again. So
Has Whitney been on the show?
Whitney has been on the show.
She was in the
yeah.
show when I was in Germany. That's why I was asking him earlier.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah.
Uh,
September.
Yeah.
End of September.
Yeah. So it was great. Whitney was first on the show back when she was working at 10 Barrel, and I was working at 23rd Avenue Bottle Shop. So we had the show there, and we were talking about Belgians, and she was all sad because she couldn't make any Belgians. She has a love for Belgians. And
You couldn't make any Belgians at 10 Barrel?
Yeah. They you know, because it's owned by AB and Bev, and anyways, they only do what sells
If I
big
could-
on
those
the,
guys.
big on the
If
on
I
the
could
shelves.
brew Belgians, I would never drink anything else.
Oh well,
Right,
you should
oh
go to
my-
Monkless out in Bend. That's a really good spot.
Let's do it.
But yeah, so I was when she was on the show, I was giving her a little bit of shit about not having any Belgians available because I'm like, well, you got your own setup here. You should be doing some Belgians, and she's like, I'm gonna do some Belgians. So we'll see what's going on with them a little bit later down the road, and they are doing a barrel aging program, so I'm looking forward to testing out some of their aged, accoutrements and see what they got going on. Guys, do we have anything else? What's any brew news? Anything going on with Breakside that the fans need to know about?
Yes, please, Ben.
When is this going live?
I can hopefully I can get it edited and posted on Thursday.
Well, this Thursday
Uh-oh.
is the Oregon Beer Awards.
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
You got
Is that what this fridge behind me is filled with?
It does look like a bunch of OBA
stickers?
There are some
beers.
OBA leftovers in there, but mostly it's stuff. It's also World Beer Cup time, so we were getting a lot of friends beers in from everyone's sending each other beer, just kind of like, hey, here's what I'm working on. Here's
Check
my
this
best
out.
stuff,
Check
kind of
this
stuff.
out,
Yeah,
yeah.
check it out.
Can you get us in?
You can buy a ticket, and tickets are available.
Oh, I thought it was sold. I thought it was sold out. I thought it was sold out.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
okay.
think there's still tickets.
Yeah?
But,
Okay, if there's a ticket,
yeah.
so I can buy my own ticket. I
Yeah.
thought it was sold out as well. I was asking you, hey, can
But
you
I mean,
through the back door?
It is the biggest thing, right? I mean, it's the biggest thing in Oregon beer.
Yeah.
In any given year, you're going to have more people. If a bomb hits that place, we're done for as an industry.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's true.
and
That's true.
It is literally, but it is the Oscars of Oregon beer, and it's an event that has kind of built itself, and I've been deeply involved with it since the get-go, so I'm obviously a little bit biased here. But I think one thing that I didn't really understand early on was that the ceremony, the award ceremony, and the fun of it, the pomp and circumstance of it, is what really attracts a lot of people. Everyone wants to be part of that. So you do the competition, you don't do the competition. You win a medal, you don't win a medal. What you actually really want to be part of it is part of that event.
Yeah.
The mere presence of being there is the kind of, that is the halo and the glory you get to bask in. And if you've never been, and I would encourage anyone, tickets are available public. This will be late. It'll be the 11th hour. If you're listening to this on Thursday afternoon and you have nothing to do tonight, come by the OBAs. Go by Grand Fir. Go by beer, Beer the Bar, because that's right next to Rev Hall where it is. And it is one of the most fun events. It's the most fun beer event in Oregon in the year, any given year by far.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best beer events in the world, and I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, I think that's definitely worth the pro spell.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's literally go. Like
Okay. We can. I'm off Thursday. If you're off Thursday, I can go. We can go do that. We'll cover the. I missed it last year.
April 1st is also the first day of the year for TriMet, which you regain all your benefits.
Oh.
They give you a bunch of floaters and a bunch of days. They give you 2 contractual. I don't know if you know what that is. Contractual. A contractual day you can use whenever. You can call out the next day. You can call them and say, I'm not coming to work tomorrow. I'm using a contractual. They don't ask any questions. They just give you the day and paid.
Okay.
Yeah, you have 2 of those. So April 1st, I'm getting that. So I'm using one of those to go on
Okay.
the event.
I think that's no joke.
Sounds like I'll see y'all there.
See what I did there? Okay, because it's April 1st.
This also looks like Austin Powers a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought
April's Fool.
April Fools. Yeah, we didn't put him in there. That's not in the beer. It's not on the list.
I submitted my stuff. Did you guys?
You did?
Yeah, I did.
I am not even gonna attempt.
We will get
I-
back to you in a few weeks.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
All right.
If Josh wins the trip, he has to take the whole podcast crew
Okay.
on whatever.
Do I really have to though?
Aw, come on, guys.
It was in the fine print. You didn't see that?
Yeah. If Brew Happy wins, anybody from Brew Happy, they all got to go. Yep.
Oh yeah, how many people is in that trip?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's, I did the beer side of it.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk to marketing.
Someone today, actually, our social media manager texted me
If
today.
it was only two, then I have to pick one of those two, right?
And she was like, and this is cute because I was like, this is so silly. But she's like, Ben, has anyone gotten the answers yet? And I was like, sorry, what do you mean? And she's like, well, aren't you reviewing all of the responses they come in? I'm like, absolutely fucking not.
No way. You'd never get anything done.
So I was like, we're going to find some way to sort these eventually whenever we decide the competition is done. But it's at least going through April 1st.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, all right.
And as long as this QR code is live, you can still participate.
So is this
Sounds
out
great.
for sale?
It's out. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
out,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was weird that I only saw 11 people posting it on Untappd, but again,
Yeah, I mean, we really are not a big on tap room, but I will say, for us,
I haven't seen it in any stores yet.
yeah, no, it's
Just so
not
you know.
really going much to retail. It's relatively limited. We did about 300 cases of it, so a small run, maybe like 400.
Okay.
But I'm very interested in this question. I don't know if you guys saw our whole thing over the Super Bowl about the bear poop beer.
We
Yes.
did talk about your
We
beer
talk
poop
about it.
beer.
Okay, so
actually,
you're
yeah.
aware of it, right?
Yes.
We don't need
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk about the beer, but you know that it existed, right?
Yes.
Okay. And one lesson that I took from that is that I do think when we are thinking about, as craft brewers, when we're thinking about the audience for our beers, is that there is a demographic out there, a number of people who can be engaged to buy our beers that are not beer drinkers, that are not really even beer consumers. Do you love eggnog?
Yeah.
Love eggnog.
No, I don't love eggnog like I want to have it all the time. I love eggnog like I like to have it 3 times around that time of year.
You can be compelled 3 times a year to buy eggnog, right?
Correct.
Okay, so in the same vein, I think there is a attainable audience that's kind of interested. They're not teetotalers. They're not gonna, but they don't hate beer. They don't buy beer, but they will buy a Christmas ale. They'll buy a Halloween beer or whatever else it is.
Right. Or
And-
pastry stout or something.
Or they get like, whoa, a bear poop beer or something like that, right?
What's that all about?
Yeah. There's a certain novelty aspect. And I think that in some ways craft breweries we've been so serious.
Oh.
Why so serious?
About if you didn't do it, I was gonna.
how we think about building customer loyalty.
Yeah.
That we've blinded ourselves to a certain degree to the fact there is a large population out there who will buy the beer occasionally, will not remember your brewery's name, will not really remember the beer that much, right? And if we're going to run successful businesses, you can make beers that are fun and engaging and that you have a lot of respect for as a producer, but that appeal to people in different ways. And so this is our attempt to put a beer out there that I stand by the liquid very much. I think the beer is actually really freaking good.
It's
I mean,
delicious.
It
is.
outpunts its coverage as a novelty beer by far as a West Coast IPA. But I want to engage some people who are not going to be engaged by us just dropping another West Coast IPA,
Okay.
right? And that's the goal here. Can we, as a company of our size and our distribution footprint, marshal our resources, marketing, hospitality, social media, to move 60 barrels of an April Fool's beer like that?
Okay. Yeah.
And so how do you do that? And I think it presents some really interesting and fun challenges, and you don't have to skimp on quality to make that happen.
Yeah. Nice.
that's freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Big time.
Carl, anything?
You know what you just mentioned reminds me of? Do you remember a beer called Loser? White label.
Yeah, the
Black
Elysian
lettering?
beer back in the day.
I bought it just because of the label.
Right.
It was. I don't even remember what it tasted like. I just remember the label.
It was a record company, right? A record label, is that?
It just said loser on it. Like, you're a loser. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this beer because it says I'm a loser, and I think that's exactly what you're trying to get right here,
Yeah, I mean,
or close to it.
Close to it, I think. Yeah, I think it's just we're going to keep trying these things, and I think there's a space there. But that you're speaking to the mentality that I think we're trying to tap into.
Exactly, I get it.
Yeah. Right on, Josh.
Yes, I know we have to end this really quickly, but I just want to. I forgot about some of the sad news. Tomorrow it is the last day ever of Point Blank Distributing as we know it.
Wow.
It is going for sale. The sale it's taking place on Wednesday, so tomorrow is literally the last day.
Yeah.
We're doing a party. So I'm saying this now because it's not coming out tomorrow because not a lot of people is invited to this party,
Including me, and I work there.
No, but I mean he's a merchandiser, so he just doesn't know enough people to. You are invited because I'm inviting you. Tomorrow we're doing a party at Six Moon and Pence. What's it called in that place? And
What side of town
Moon
is it
and
on?
Sixpence.
Moon and Sixpence. Thank you.
In Hollywood.
Yes.
Okay.
Point Blank Distributing Party as the last goodbye for all the employees. Well, not all, but the salespeople, drivers, ex-drivers. I was invited because I think I earned my spot driving for those guys for 12 years.
I think so.
But so yeah, as in Wednesday, Point Blank will be no more as we know it, and I think that's very, very sad news.
End of an era. And
I have
end
been a
of an era.
Point Blank employee for 10 years, and Tuesday I will be fired or laid off, whatever you want to say it.
Yeah. Well,
So we can raise a glass for those guys for one last
absolutely.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss it.
And I'll say something, independent of being a Point Blank employee here, which is that, and we're in a different book, and but as a brewer in Portland, as someone before I was a brewer in Portland, I was really into beer in Portland, just a beer fan, is that Point Blank built a grassroots culture for small breweries that
True.
Big time.
really defined and helped improve beer in a way that was really important for this city in the last decade and a half. And obviously that, it was
100%
not just
agreed.
Aaron and co, but it's the people who did the work. It's the people who did the hard work. And you guys built that reputation on being willing to drop off a sixtel of someone's random beer at a restaurant. No, this is serious. This is the type of commitment that Point Blank showed, the Point Blank employees showed to getting small amounts of beer into cool bars and restaurants so that people could experience it and experience what small breweries are doing in ways that were fresh.
Yeah.
Is something that no other wholesaler has quite figured out. And other wholesalers might be knock on more doors or have a bigger footprint or just have more buying power altogether. But there is something that Point Blank did for Portland and for the beer world that I think is very admirable. And I just hope that it doesn't totally go away.
Yeah, I have to agree, and that is so important for a lot of beer bars, especially the smaller ones like that we really love, like Beer Mongers, for example. They don't have a whole lot of cooler space underneath their counters, so they really like to do sixtels, and for companies like Point Blank that would be willing to make that kind of thing happen, so that they can get those beers out there and cater to the beer buyers. That says a lot to dedication towards the industry, the product, the brands, and the beer community itself. So, yeah, let's do another prost.
Just do one last prost.
One
for
last
Point
prost for
Blank.
Point Blank,
Oh my
yeah.
God, this is like super
Do I
sad
got
for
time,
me.
or are we done here?
Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
So our overlords, Columbia Distributing, that bought us, has stated, and it sounds like it's going through, that Point Blank will still be in existence, but it will be Point Blank, a craft division of Columbia.
That's why I say Point Blank as we know it.
As we know it, okay.
I agree. So Point Blank will not be in grocery stores. They will only do on premises, which is bars. So our Point Blank reps will be working in separate from Columbia people, selling Point Blank beers to bars.
Is that extended packaged, or is it just
is all going to Canby? So that's why I'm out of a job, because that goes to Canby, and I'm not part of that.
Also,
Okay.
there's so many people that refuse to work for Columbia that
Exactly, because
I know that they're just not moving. They got the chance actually to go, but they just refuse to work for them.
I'm not going to say
I understand
my
that.
way either way, but I'm not working for Columbia.
Okay.
Sounds like you guys got a whole topic for another podcast.
That's a
here.
whole other podcast.
just
Let's
guys.
leave that as a cliffhanger here.
Yeah,
I just wanted to raise the glass one more time because actually tomorrow is the last day for Point Blank as we know, and that's what we did.
I am
So,
fired
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
He's getting fired
Not
tomorrow.
cheers to that,
Yeah.
Carl, but cheers to Point Blank. And good luck to everybody.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff that's going away, and
Yeah, as one door closes, I know it's really annoying for there to be an eternal optimist around here, but
Oh yeah.
just
No.
redirecting
Yeah, it's good.
energy to
It's
where it's
positive.
meant to be going.
We need the
So
positive
There's probably
energy.
something great
That is the main
there.
reason I went to Belgium too, because Aaron Gardner gave me my first ever case of Cantillon. So I fall in love with that beer, and that is the main reason I went to Belgium, because I was just going to Germany.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Aaron, I would never
It's even
think about going to Belgium.
it's even fun to say. Cantillon.
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 I got nothing else to say, my friend.
All right.
Cheers.
Guys, thanks so much for coming to Breakside and hanging out and having me
Ben.
on the show again. We'll
Yeah.
do this again in when sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ben. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. You're so knowledgeable. You are a wealth of knowledge, honestly. Thank you so much. We'll try not to be strangers, and I don't know. Next time, where do you want to do the show here? Do you want to do try a different location? Maybe
Slaptown, since I never been there.
Apparently, Josh needs to go to Slab
That is so
Town.
we gotta
crazy to
have,
me.
yeah, we gotta bring Josh to Slaptown, which also, by the way,
He's like, have you heard about this new place, Grand Fir?
Yeah.
Have you heard about this new brewery, Breakside Slabtown?
yeah.
I
That's
think I
all
said
right.
new place.
That's
It's
all right.
new place for me. Grand Fir.
But but you know, we have newer listeners, newer beer fans out there that are just learning about where to go in the Portland area, where to go when they travel out here to the Pacific Northwest, and that's completely valid. So, you know, we always have great places to talk about here on the Brew Happy Show, and for many people, you'll hear it here first. So. Thank you, listeners, so much. Try to support us on patreon.com/brewhappy. I didn't get to really plug any of that, but we do have awesome sponsors and supporters. We love our Patreon members out there, like Mr. Fantastic and Mr. Weebs out there, and Jeremy Landers, of course. We love that guy. And, of course, our folks over there at Lazy Days Brewing, who continues to sponsor the show. So thank you so much. Check out their locations as well. Which actually, they have a location right there on the same block as Breakside. So take the Max down to Beaverton and do yourself a little walkabout, and I'll have a little pub crawl.
So which one of you two are going with me when I win this competition?
We'll have to flip a coin for it, Josh.
I was just gonna say we could go to Raindrop Tap House and Breakside
Yeah.
and Lazy Days. There's so many great
There's
spots
so many
Oh,
places.
yeah.
in downtown Vancouver
Oh, yeah.
or downtown Beaverton.
Yeah, but you know, if you go to Slabtown location, you'll be surrounded by Green Goddess botanic plants.
It's true. My beauties
Oh.
are growing there, and they look so good.
They do. They do.
look great.
Thank you guys so much. We do appreciate you guys, and as always, beer fans, I don't just like you, I love you, and I want to have a beer with you right here at Breakside Brewery. Cheers.
This production is brought to you by Brew Happy Media, the ultimate brewers media resource. For more information, go to thebrewhappyshow.com and brewhappypodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Brew Happy. For more cigar pairings, please check out our sponsor, paulcigars.net. Questions, concerns, advertising, or guest relations, please reach us at brewhappypdx@gmail.com. Remember, brew happy, drink responsibly. Cheers.
This is Ben Edmunds from Breakside, and you're listening to the Brew Happy Show.